Starting off at number 10, we have a serial arsonist on found tape. In this video, we hear creepy whispers as the camera points towards a house enveloped in flames. This happened in a town plagued by a series of arson fires that they had no explanation for until a farmer came across a videotape with this footage. You can hear the person behind the camera whispering, "Look at it," in a devilish voice.
I gotta go now. But remember me. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Also, you can hear them say, "Take a look at that," and have labored breathing. It was found out that the perpetrators were teenagers. The pyromaniacs had more tapes that chronicled the news headlines of all of their arsons, plus some other footage of them dressing up as werewolves or vampires. They committed over 60 arsons. All in all, it's creepy not only that they were being serial arsonists, but that they caught it on tape and it was found. So watch at your own risk. Next at number 9, we have a couple drowning. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because it's two people dying on camera. If you would like to view it for yourself, it will be linked below, but it is age restricted due to the content and just you've been warned. A couple decided to go for a swim while celebrating their first anniversary while they were in Yemen in April of 2013. It starts out nice with the husband and wife having a nice little dip in shallow water, and their ages are 22 and 18 respectively, just for context. You can see they're still having a nice moment, entering the water, all that. But it all goes wrong as they either slip off the sand or the sand beneath them sinks suddenly. It's disturbing to watch as they try and fail to stay afloat. If you take anything away from this one, it's to know what to do when someone is drowning. If you haven't been trained on how to save a drowning victim, then don't attempt to save them by entering the water because that puts you at risk. They are flailing, and if they hit you or grab onto you, you could go under as well. On to number 8, we have a possible pharmacy ghost. This video allegedly shows a ghost wreaking havoc in an Egyptian pharmacy at 3 a.m. The security camera catches two different screens flickering on and off to bright screens or static, and a chair moving without any visible cause, and the channel that posted it, Egyptune, says it's up to the viewer to decide if it's real or fake. And honestly, I was pretty convinced up until this part. At about 1 minute, where the splatters of some liquid or ghostly thing and then maybe blood appear and it's all splattered all over on the floor, and then it cuts to the same dark substance being pressed onto a glass surface like handprints, and no, I won't believe that, and maybe because I don't want to. It's kind of creepy. Do you believe it? Let me know. But anyways, on to number 7, we have corrupted footage. This one is worth a watch of the whole thing if you're up for it. It was uploaded by Joaquin Baldwin on YouTube. He said in the description that he hadn't realized his cousin recorded over parts of his videotape, so when he got the tape converted to digital, it got all messed up. The audio and visual got blended and corrupted into what he calls a trans-dimensional hellish nightmare. All the segments are like creepy and overlapped and definitely have that entire haunting feeling, and it will definitely haunt my dreams tonight. Great. And next is a story that made it all the way to local news. On to number 6, a ghost caught on nanny cam. Joshua Higgins was featured on WXYZ Detroit after claiming he saw a ghost on his daughter's nanny cam. It's clear on the camera that you can see something moving around the crib, and heck, it's enough movement that the baby themselves gets up to check it out. Who knows if this was a particularly huge dust bunny that looked more phantom than normal, or actually a spirit of some kind, but let's hope that if it is the latter, a spirit, it's an ancestor popping in to say hello, because it's a baby. Babies are cute and innocent. They should stay that way. And well, let's move on to number 5, the scary warehouse. In this one, 2 men are in an empty warehouse taking a video and some photographs, but the man holding the camera continuously gets creeped out by how ominous their surroundings are. What seems to be scaring him the most is that a red door keeps opening and closing on its own.
That door just me, right? Right.
Oh, I won't right here.
No, I'm not joking, right?
The other man with him says it's just the wind, but with the door closed entirely, the wind doesn't seem like a complete explanation to me. Like the physics don't feel totally right. But anyways, they continue to explore the abandoned building, with even the videographer's friend scaring him for a bit. But in the end, they are hearing more noises and keep getting scared until they hear one final thing that scares them away for good. The two drop the camera after this noise and run the heck out of there, and honestly, it gave me a little bit of a jump scare as well. If you're a little more, good with jump scares, probably not for you, but for me, 100%. Every time. Next, at number 4, we have a creepy child sitting in the middle of the road. In the video, we hear two friends chatting until they round a bend and see this disturbing image. Here, it looks like someone decided to sit in the center of the road and is facing the direction of the car approaching.
Okay, that's a bit scary.
Yeah,
That's a bit scary.
that is very scary.
That's
We hear one of the car's passengers say, "Okay, that's a bit scary," and his bud is saying, yep, and they back away and get the heck out of there. Like, we know these two would survive in a horror movie because they actually ran away from what looks creepy instead of, deciding to help the person in the middle of the street, which was just looking at them creepily. That one was just creeping me out and looked kind of like a horror movie. And the next one also kind of looks like a horror movie too. At number 3, we have a couple being watched. Back in 2016, Jack McArcher and his girlfriend Jordan Barankis got into an argument when Barankis couldn't find her purse. But when they checked their camera footage to find answers, they were freaked out by what they saw. At 3:30 a.m. at night, a man let himself into their house through an unlocked door and stood watching them for a total of around 10 minutes, just standing there. Around this time, he must have also taken Barankis' purse. The nicknamed Creeper Ghost was also alleged to be behind other burglaries in the neighborhood. Now, I don't know about you, but I would lock my door if there were alleged burglaries in a neighborhood. So, thank goodness they had a security camera so they could figure out who this person was, but all in all, lock your doors, please. Number 2 is stalker footage. Before killing Lauren Giddings, Stephen McDaniel was stalking her. He was her next door neighbor, and the two were also classmates. They had graduated and Giddings was going to move away. McDaniels decided to put a stop to that in an unfortunate way. These videos are from the night he killed her. The camera was attached to a 6-foot-long wooden stick to be able to peer through her window. Have a look. We see through the camera the open blinds to her room and eventually the alley beside her residence where McDaniel must have been standing. Hours later, he strangled her to death. McDaniel said this in a part of his plea deal where he wrote a 1-page confession describing it all. He said that after killing her through strangling her, he dragged her to the bathtub and then he left. He wrote that he returned on the Sunday after to dismember her body with a hacksaw. This happened back in 2014 and McDaniels pleaded guilty to killing her, saying he would take it back if he could. But death isn't something you can take back, and that's what makes these tapes haunting. This last one is the worst of them all. At number 1 is a tape found from the Jonestown Massacre. If you aren't familiar, the Jonestown Massacre is where the saying, "Don't drink the Kool-Aid" comes from. While the saying is tossed around quite a bit now, kind of offhand, it has gruesome beginnings. Over 900 members of a cult called the People's Temple died in a mass murder-suicide on November 18, 1978. The cult was led by Jim Jones, who had a revolutionary suicide plan, which led to what is now one of the largest mass deaths in American history. A fruit drink was laced with cyanide and either drank or shot via syringe into children's mouths and drank as the adults as well. Fewer than 100 members of the cult survived this devastating event, either because they weren't present at the compound when it happened or because they defected during the event, as I feel most should have. All in all, it was horrific. During someone's autopsy, they found a tape recorder and this tape was in it. So have a listen if you want nightmares, because this happened right before hundreds died.
If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace. We've been so betrayed.
Starting us off at number 10 is an alien demon. This clip first surfaced back in 2019 after a woman named Vivian Gomez was checking her security camera footage one morning. In this clip I'm about to show you, there is a creepy, pale, gaunt looking creature who walks, or whatever you want to call it, across her driveway, and I mean, I don't blame her for being freaked out. So as you can see, there is a very weird little humanoid looking creature that would for sure make me question my sanity if it popped up on my security footage. Now, of course, when it was posted, there were quite a few people that pointed out how much this creepy creature resembles Dobby the elf from Harry Potter, and I mean, honestly, I kind of do see that. Also, that funky little chicken dance thing that it's doing is definitely not the most intimidating thing a demon could do. But the funny Dobby point aside, it's still a super freaky video that definitely makes me feel all kinds of weirded out. I mean, look at that thing. It doesn't look human to me, that's for sure. Plus, all we are seeing is the back. Who knows what its face looks like, let alone what it could be capable of. Let's just hope that whatever it is, it's not looking to hurt us. Next up at number 9, a river monster. Now, this video starts off a little differently from the rest on this list, but I still thought it was weird enough to add to the list for you guys. As you can see, there are two people at the top of a hill with a stretcher, and a group of people in what appear to be hazmat suits a little bit down a ledge from them trying to pick something up. Now, a group of people wearing hazmat suits in the middle of the day by the river is definitely a little unusual to begin with, but what's even stranger than that is what they appear to be grabbing. If you take a look at the clip, it looks like whatever they're grabbing is some kind of strange creature, potentially even a demonic one. Some people online said they thought it looked like a mermaid, which, I mean, is definitely one theory. I don't know, you guys, let me know in the comments what you think this creature could be. Coming in at number 8, a skeleton demon. Demons come in all shapes and sizes, but until today I had never really thought about one that looked like a skeleton. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's just me. And hey, maybe it's not a demon, but then you can tell me what this creature might be. As you can see in the clip here, it looks like this came from some security footage, and right there, as you can see, is a creepy demonic alien skeleton thingy that will probably be etched into my brain for many days to come. But then something spooks it and it disappears behind a bush, and that's it. That's all we see of this terrifying creature. Now, some people online think this one could be a hoax, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Could that be a freaky skeleton demon coming to haunt you in your sleep? I sure as hell hope not. Next up at number 7, a demon possession. Now, don't get me wrong, I love ooky spooky content as much as the next person, but that doesn't mean I'm looking to get mixed up with demons or hoping to catch one on a ghost hunt. These guys, however, posted a video of their ghost hunt a little over a year ago to YouTube entitled "The Scariest Video You Will Ever Watch." Now, that's a pretty bold statement considering what is on the internet these days, but to be fair, there is a pretty freaky moment where it looks like one of the guys gets possessed. So as we can see, the lights are flickering, you know, classic demon stuff, and so they head into the room to investigate. But the creepy part comes when the guy holding the camera turns back and sees his friend with completely jet black eyes. I mean, if that were me in a haunted house with the lights flickering like that, I would definitely be running as far away as I could. But hey, to each their own. However, maybe the strangest part is that literally seconds later, it's gone and he's back to normal. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Was he being possessed by an evil demon? Coming in at number 6, a creepy crawly. This next one was posted to the YouTube channel Kisa Weba, and it's definitely what my nightmares are made of. All demons are creepy, but there is definitely something about one that's crawling on the ground that adds an extra layer of shivers down my spine. As you can see in the clip, this demon is crawling across the pavement, full horror movie style on their hands, and behind them it looks like there is this trail of like demon ghostness falling behind them, or maybe that's just the shape of the demon. I'm not totally sure. Either way, it is an incredibly demon looking thing to me, but whatever it is, I would 100% not want to run into this on my nighttime walk. that is for sure. Next up at number 5, a pale creature. This next clip is creepy to say the least. It was first posted to Twitter by the username ParanormalityM, and it immediately had just about the entire internet freaked out. In this clip I'm gonna show you here, there is an almost ghoulishly white creature that is probably one of the most indescribable things I've ever laid eyes on. I mean, you take a look for yourself and see, right? Look at that thing. Do you get what I mean? Like, actually, what is that creature? Some think it could have been some kind of paranormal sighting, while others joked it kind of looked like Gollum, which, truth be told, I can kind of get behind. However, the resemblance to Gollum or not doesn't make this ghoulish creature any less freaky, or any less possible of being a demon capable of possessing you and ruining your entire life. Coming in at number 4, Voldemort Demon. This next video was posted by an account called Supernatural back in 2020, and before I get into it, let me just start off by saying that the first thought I had about this demon was that it looked like Voldemort. That or Emperor Palpatine maybe, both of whom I would prefer to whatever the hell is in this clip. So as you can see, as the camera starts coming into focus, a terrifying dark creature is standing at the very back of the hallway staring right at the camera. Now, something about the fact that it doesn't move almost makes it scarier, like I am just waiting for something super bad to happen. However, whoever was filming this apparently likes to live on the edge, as it looks like they actually start getting closer to this evil cloaked demon. But then, completely out of nowhere, this Voldemort demon straight up falls away and disappears. I mean, look at that. Like, what is happening there? If there is one thing that is scarier than seeing a demon, it's seeing that demon disappear and having no sweet clue where the hell it went. Coming in at number 3, Monster Under the Bed. Thanks to horror movies, there are many people out there who are nervous to sleep with their toes outside of the covers on the off chance that a demon will come and grab them in the night. And listen, I'm not saying it makes complete sense, but I'm also saying that I might be one of those people. Now, while I'm not 100% sure, it seems like this might be footage of someone that's being possessed by a demon. That or it's a humanoid kind of creature, but either way, it's spooky and not anything I would ever want to come into contact with. In the clip here, you'll notice it starts on the bed, then is abruptly seen standing with its back to the camera before the clip jumps, and all of a sudden, this demon is shaking the bed by the bars like a maniac. This clip continues on to show the ghoulish white figure standing in the corners or contorted around the bed until maybe the creepiest part, when this demon looks as if it starts eating its own flesh? Listen, tell me what you see here. To me, this looks like a freaky demon possession that would 100% ruin my sleep. And if the demons that may or may not live under my bed are anything like this, then, well, let's just hope they leave me alone. Coming in at number 2, the floating girl. This next video was posted online back in 2017. However, according to the timestamp on the video itself, it looks like it was taken back in 1997. The section of the clip I'm gonna show you starts off with a woman who I'm going to guess is the priest or something, cracking what looks like a black egg into a bowl. I mean, already I'm confused, but that is quickly far less interesting as the possessed girl abruptly sits up and all you see are her piercing hollow black eyes. She drinks the egg concoction and then, as quickly as she sat up, she throws her body back down into the bed. As you can see, things keep getting crazier. Her seemingly hollowed out eyes shoot back open, and the next thing you know, she's floating off the bed. From there, her body starts slowly lowering down again until she grabs the camera and it goes blank. I mean, you guys are looking at the same thing as me here, and I have to admit that is some pretty freaky footage. And last up in our number 1 spot today, Possessed by the Devil. Not to be dramatic or anything, but this last clip I'm about to show you is utterly horrifying. I mean, honestly, I think that this clip is going to be seared into my mind for eternity, which is super fun. Like, just watch the clip here. Pardon me, The contorted face and body, the blood all over his mouth, and what was that evil laugh noise he was making? Also, can we talk about the ribs that may as well have been cracked open at the very end there? If there was ever a video to prove the existence of a demon possession, I would definitely put this video at the top of my list. That's all I'm saying, because really, I can't think of many other explanations for what I just saw.
Coming number 10, we have the Croatian tape. The thing about found footage is it can easily be staged. There's no way of telling if what you're looking at is made by someone with the intention of freaking you out, or if it was actually the last moments of someone's life caught in a disturbing video. Well, that is what we have on our first point. The Croatian tape is said to be recorded in 2005, and no one has any idea of when it worked its way onto the internet. In the tape, there are two young boys who are just walking about late at night, and then they're approached by some strange man. There's a couple things that seem off about this dude. For one, he's stumbling around like he's drunk or disoriented, and two, he has some sort of canvas bag on his head like he's Jason from the first Friday the 13th movie. First, this guy seems harmless. It seems like maybe he's lost, but then he starts to get aggressive and chase after the boys. They outrun him and make it back to their apartment building, and right when they think that they're safe, they see this in the elevator. Now, this could have all been staged. I mean, how on earth did this baghead guy make it back to the elevator? But they might have been messing around with something supernatural that tracked them down. Coming in at number 9, we have the Paris catacombs footage. If someone invites you to come down into some catacombs for exploring, just say no. That's not a fun place to be, especially when you're in Paris. Why would you spend your time walking around with a bunch of old bones when you could be eating croissants until you need a forklift to sit upright? Well, in Paris, someone thought it would be a good idea to take a break from gorging on baguettes to look at some rotting bones. This is some of the most terrifying found footage I have ever seen. You have a POV shot of someone walking through this tunnel system. For the most part, everything seems normal, but then they start to panic. I don't know if it's the strange markings all over the walls that starts to freak him out, or maybe he got lost, or maybe he heard something, but it doesn't matter because he just starts running. As he's running, you can tell that he has no idea where he's going, and eventually he drops his camera and makes off into the darkness. Let's take a look at this man's panic.
Or pictures of bones.
The video shows the man exploring, but he soon begins to panic. He runs through the maze of tunnels and his breathing gets heavy. As he is running, you can hear and tell the man is freaking out.
Now, we have no idea why this guy started to panic or what happened to him after. The catacombs are like a maze that go on for miles in every direction, so there's a good chance that he got lost down there and was never seen again, or that whatever he was running away from caught up with him. Coming in at number 8, we have a doorbell cam. There is nothing better than looking through some videos from your doorbell only to find a creeper walking close to your house. What could be worse than that? Well, what about a dude caught in the act of creeping around your house? I'm about to show you a man who was caught wandering around someone's home, and then they came right up to their door and did this.
He proceeds to knock and ring the doorbell.
The owner of this home woke up to a notification coming from their phone that someone was at their door. You know, sometimes I think it's weird that our lives are becoming so automated, but when you see something like this, you would be happy to have a camera on the front of your door. This person kept trying to work their way into the home in one of the strangest attempts I have ever seen. He rings the doorbell and then tries to break in afterwards. The man is probably deranged and had no idea what was going on. Coming in at number 7, we have the mysterious noise. Now, even when found footage doesn't have something that is explicitly creepy about it, like a dude with a bag on his head chasing you down the street, there can be something strange and creepy to it that just leaves a weird feeling in your stomach. That's how people feel about the Paraguayan camcorder footage. It would seem to be some sort of strange home video that has several different scenes spliced together. It follows a group of teens and all the footage is extremely grainy, which makes sense because the footage is apparently from the 90s. But then there comes this noise. You can hear that strange humming in the background. Now, while this is probably some static that was picked up because the recording is on a very old device, some other people think that this could be a curse of sorts. That if you listen to the full tape, it will bring a dark energy into your life as if you were watching the tape from The Ring. Coming in number 6, we have the South Korean ferry incident. Back in 2014, a ferry in South Korea would take on way too many cars and passengers. Now, even though the vessel should have been able to handle this many people on board, the waves were rough that day and the ship ended up tipping on its side. This is some of the footage from inside the ship.
수연아, 마지막 진짜 팔기 보소. 나도. 우리 이렇게 바다로 헤엄쳐서 이렇게 될 거야. 수연아, 자, 왜 네가 들고 있어? 나 이제 토할 것 같거든.
This entire video is about 20 minutes long, and throughout most of it, no one really seems to think that they're in any danger. They are convinced that the people around them will all be saved when their rescue comes. Unfortunately, they were wrong, and many people that day were not saved. Coming in at number 5, we have the skeleton at the door. Having a doorbell camera might bring in more stress into your life than you would think. Let me show you this footage, and then you can see how stressful it would be to see something like this happen at the front of your house.
With a piece of tape. The homeowner got an alert that motion was detected on the porch, and upon checking the footage was ready to grab his gun. It's not known what was done while the tape was covering the camera.
You see a creepy skeleton come out of the darkness and then cover up the camera to your door. Now apparently this didn't lead to anything. It was probably just some kids goofing around, but some kids goofing around can make you feel like your home is about to get broken into by the undead. Coming in at number 4, we have a towering flame. This is one of the most famous cases of found footage in the 90s. When you hear the start of this, you will literally think it's a plot for a B movie, but this is really what happened. It was in California, and on the side of the road there was some old cassettes that were found. On these tapes was a recording of a massive blaze. It was a house that had been set on fire. Here's some of the footage from that tape.
Asexual turn-ons.
That is just a taste of the whole thing. The rest of the footage goes on for about 4 minutes. You can hear people laughing, and you can only assume that those were the people who lit the fire. For a while, this was just a tall tale and some creepy footage, but eventually the tape made it onto Unsolved Mysteries, and through this, the people were able to track down the culprits. It turned out to be 2 teenagers who were both arrested and tried for their crimes. Coming in at number 3, we have an oncoming train. This footage is some of the most infuriating and depressing footage on this list. It comes from a movie shoot in 2014 when a crew was filming a movie about Greg Almond. They were on a train bridge and they thought that they had all day to shoot, but there was something that the director didn't tell them. The director had contacted the city to get permission to shoot on the bridge, but they were denied the right to shoot twice. Then the crew had to rush off the bridge while the train was barreling towards them. Unfortunately, not everyone was able to make it out of the way of the train safely. When everything was said and done, the production company was sued and had to pay out over $3 million, and the director was thrown in prison for manslaughter. Coming in at number 2, we have No Through Road. There have been a lot of theories about No Through Road. On the footage, there are 4 English teens driving around late at night until they get lost. Eventually, they get to a dead end and try to work their way back, and their car stalls. Then they are confronted by this.
Jay, just give me the... What are you doing? Turn it back on.
It's not me. I can't.
Turn the bloody lights on.
Now that seems pretty terrifying. What on earth do you think that thing is? It looks like it could have just been a regular man, but the rest of the footage is too gruesome for me to show you here. It cuts some of the previous footage on the camera in between these young men being attacked by this strange figure. Now, when you watch it, I would guess that this is a very well put together project from a few teens who wanted to make a short horror movie. But when you dig deeper into the story, the rumors say that the car was found with blood all over it, and there was only the tape left in the car. And coming in the number 1 spot, we have the Stephen McDaniels footage. This is by far some of the most chilling footage that you could ever see. Stephen McDaniels was a very troubled person. He was classmates with Lauren Giddings, and even though the two barely interacted, he had an obsession with her. Without her knowing, he would creep outside her window and film her. Here's some of that footage. Just seeing that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. This entire time, Lauren had no idea that there was someone outside her apartment, and it was the last day of school when Stephen would break into her apartment. The police were later notified and found the footage I just showed you on Stephen's computer. Stephen is currently in prison, and there's a good chance he will never be released.
Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have this basement ghost. This is a TikTok that comes from the user KittyK38 and shows her and her husband and daughter. They were all upstairs watching TV when they heard the drum kit downstairs, which is weird since everyone in the house was upstairs like I just mentioned. They go to investigate and the husband goes first while the daughter is absolutely too spooked to go down the stairs, which I fully understand. As the husband gets down the stairs, he slowly looks around and tries to figure out what they were hearing. At the bottom of the stairs is a wine bottle rack, and as he looks around, whatever was making the sound on the drums made its way over to the wine rack and throws a couple bottles.
It's okay, honey. You heard it though, right?
I don't hear anything now.
Oh my god!
I honestly would have probably put my house up for sale the very next day if that ever happened to me. In our number 9 spot today, we have Lego. This video comes from the TikTok user Schnattily, and she is recording what she thought was her dog. This small, shadowy creature moves a couple times and she calls out for her dog Lego, but after a couple of calls, she remembers that Lego is actually outside.
Lego? Lego. Come here.
She honestly stays pretty calm, and I truly have no idea how, because I honestly would be absolutely freaking out. Whatever that thing is, it is definitely moving around, and I do not like that. In our number 8 spot today, we have this figure on the staircase. This video comes from the TikTok user CloHeartX and is of her absolutely smashing the trending TikTok dance to Love Shack by the B-52s mixed with Britney's Toxic. She's just jamming out and explains that she never expected this video to see the light of day, but she had to post it after watching it back. As she is living her best life home alone, there is a staircase in the back. Her TikTok captured some sort of figure coming down the stairs that are behind her, but like I said, she was home alone, so what the heck? Honestly, I hate seeing these creepy videos of people home alone because it makes me never want to be home alone ever again. In our number 7 spot today, we have the Horton Mine. This video comes from the YouTuber Exploring Abandoned Mines in Unusual Places, which is a channel that is exactly what it sounds like. This is not a paranormal channel at all, and it is quite literally just a guy who goes out exploring. In 2013, the channel uploaded a video where he was exploring a mine called the Horton Mine, and while he was there, he caught some really strange things. Before anything weird happens, while he's showing the initial footage, he captions the video explaining that he felt as though something was watching him and that it didn't want him to go any further into the tunnel. He didn't go much further, but he did still decide to go in a little bit more, and this is when things get a little creepier. After this, he said that he could feel the energy change and that the temperature dropped. He decided to head out of the tunnel and explore some other areas instead, which I think was probably the right call. In our number 6 spot today, we have this staircase ghost. This video comes from a TikTok user called Scariest Posts. It starts off with a guy explaining that he is home alone, but that he heard some footsteps coming from outside of his room. Definitely never a good start to a video. He says that he double checked to make sure that no one else was home and that he could continually hear the footsteps for about 10 minutes now. Right after he says that, the sound starts again and we can hear it ourselves, and then he goes and opens the door that's in front of him. He walks out of the room and is at the top of the stairs, which he slowly peeks down before something very spooky happens. Those loud footsteps coming from nowhere would have had me hightailing it out of there as fast as I possibly could. In our number 5 spot today, we have this mysterious phone video. This TikTok comes from the user KNG_Garbnar and is some kind of get together at someone's house. The video comes from some surveillance camera that is capturing everything that's going on. Everyone is just chilling out, having a good time, and one person is even playing VR. At one point, there's a phone on the wall and it starts to ring. The 2 people standing closest to the phone look at it when they hear it ring, but no one else really notices. Then it rings a second time and the one person decides to pick it up. This is all fine until the person who lives in this house realizes what's going on. The phone is not plugged in or connected at all, so how the heck could it be ringing?
You can add bullets if you want to, Hunter. Well, that looks cool as Alright, we need the code. I'm looking right at it, homie. What? 7024. No! No! What? No! What? That phone was just fucking ringing! Plugged in! It rang!
I am very glad there was a camera to catch this all, or else I would have never believed it. In our number 4 spot today, we have this Snapchat memory video. This TikTok comes from the user Savannah Stoobs and is of a Snapchat memory they came across. They're at what looks like a subway, and it seems like they're recording because they know that their friend is about to come around the corner. This video, however, captures something really scary that they didn't even realize until viewing this memory recently. I honestly can't explain to you how much I hope this is fake, because that is one of the creepiest things I have ever seen. I feel like if this was in my Snapchat memories, I would have wished to never notice that face at all. In our number 3 spot today, we have this attempted armed robbery video. This video was taken from a Ring doorbell camera and captures something very real and very terrifying. This video shows 2 armed robbers going up to the house and knocking on the door, hoping for the family inside to open the door. The one robber has what looks like a gun, and the other has a crowbar, so this whole situation is very frightening. Apparently the one who knocks on the door was even saying the name of one of the family members, so it's likely that they knew each other. Luckily, the family obviously checked the camera before heading to the door and saw this because they were actually home at the time and no one answered. The robbers didn't even try to break in, but were obviously waiting for someone to open the door, which honestly feels very sinister. I am so glad that the door stayed closed and eventually they just decided to leave. In our number 2 spot today, we have this little girl playing with a ghost. This video comes from the YouTuber Legend Forever and is from around Christmas time last year. The video shows his really cute daughter in the living room just playing around as kids do. Everything is fine until the camera catches something none of us are expecting. Okay, so I know we all just saw that, right? First the ball just rolls on its own, and then when she rolls it back, it stops very suddenly, and it really seems like she can see who she's playing with, even though we can't. I honestly hope this one is just some really good editing because it freaked me right out. In our number 1 spot today, we have this unexplainable video. This is a TikTok that comes from the user Humor Me Dude. He explains that his in-laws are in town visiting and they received a notification of some movement from their Ring doorbell, and when they checked their footage, it caught something very, very strange.
When we back it up, we see this person or whatever it is come in frame. It looks like a person. Fast forward a little bit more, I'm gonna zoom in. Whatever this is has 4 legs. Look at that, what is that? But we back it up, okay? Press play. It's not there, it's not on camera.
I honestly have no explanation for what is going on here. I thought that maybe the 4 legs thing could have just been 2 people walking beside each other and you can't see the other one, but I really cannot explain why this thing doesn't show up when you just play the video normally. It is all very strange.
Number 10. Regulations. Drones, right off the bat, they're not a new piece of technology, but they're most definitely becoming more widespread. Especially living downtown Toronto, I see drones all the time. And yes, I get mad at them every single time for no reason. I always think it's aliens too for like 4 seconds, and I'm like, nah, just that guy over there. Surveys suggest that drone technology that's upcoming, that's what the general public fears the most. I mean, fair. That and VR, pretty ominous. Very Black Mirror vibes going on with those two. And part of this, or really a lot of this, is due to the fact that since this technology evolved so quickly, the laws and regulations surrounding drones, well, they haven't exactly had time to catch up. They're cool and all, but drones are quite invasive. Like I said, I see them a lot, and I don't wanna. These devices can make others feel like they're being spied on, when really we're just enjoying the view. In Portsmouth, one man was caught sunbathing on top of a 175-foot tall wind turbine. Yeah, what a location. There we go. The closer to the sun, the better, I guess? I don't know what his mentality is. Drone operator Kevin Miller spotted Joseph Byron catching a cool breeze on top of a turbine. Now, the man had obviously been asked about his parkour endeavor and how he got up there, of course. And apparently he's been climbing the turbine for over a decade, just for some alone time. Yeah, that guy's for sure Batman. Leave people alone. Stop flying drones near them. Number 9, ghosts. Ah yes, the black-eyed ghouls of Cannock Chase Forest in Stratfordshire, England. You've heard about this one? No? Huh. Listen up. They've been a local legend for hundreds of years now, and now we're finally at a time where drones are responsible for ghost photography. Yep, no escaping now, Casper. We have altitude and speed, buddy. These ghouls, they've been thought to be ghost victims that died from diphtheria outbreak back in the 1800s, so it's not like a scary ghoul Elden Ring type situation. It's just some lost souls, just some sad stuff. They're also said to be victims of Raymond Morris, who took the lives of several people back in the 1960s, so could be outbreak victims and could be worse. Either way, we got it all on drone cam. Check it out. Did you see a ghost wearing a white dress? A little odd to be in the woods like that, no? Definitely without bug spray, you'd probably be a little itchy. Imagine being a ghost and now you have to fly away from a drone. How stressful is that? Just a ghost racing a drone. The next paranormal activity right there. Number 8, Jeepers Creepers. This one I am not a fan of, okay? Some are afraid of heights, so that last one probably scared you. If you're afraid of clowns, well, buckle up. I grew up watching Jeepers Creepers, right? That movie ruined my childhood. Now this clip takes me back to the good old days. Kelly Lopez took his drone for a spin over a cornfield, maybe hoping to see some abandoned tractors, a sunset. Wouldn't hurt, who knows? When looking back at the footage, Kelly discovered a clown that also discovered Kelly's drone. Yeah, the last thing you'd expect in a cornfield, right? Just a clown. A minute into the footage, the clown notices the drone and then sprints. It takes off so fast. It's almost like he got caught doing something, you know what I mean? Or else why would you run? Doing what though? I don't want to know. Why is he dressed up like a clown too? I need answers. I need all the answers. Or maybe I don't. I don't know. This is too creepy. Let's move on. Number 7, Chernobyl. On April 26, 1986, reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl power complex erupted. It was just a horrible time. It erupted due to unstable and low power levels. And in turn, reactor 4 had been shut down a day before due to maintenance. And the next day at 1:23 a.m., radioactive debris compiled of fuel and reactor components just rained down over the building. And toxic fumes were then carried from the wind, and after just 4 months, 28 workers had died due to radiation exposure. Fast. Now eventually, they of course had to evacuate over 100,000 residents, and to this day, that zone is a no-go for humans. No can do. But drones, on the other hand, sure, they can swoop in and have a different fate. That area right now is full of nature, but humans are nowhere in sight, so it's pretty beautiful on a grim note. It looks like something from The Last of Us. Reactor 4 will stay highly radioactive for another 20,000 years, so I want to grab a drone soon. Number 6, Shark Circle. Cool, all the fears in one video. Let's do it. See, this is where I can get behind drone videos. This is where I like drones. Just this one time. The ocean, right? We have no idea what's in there, in the top or the bottom. So let's fly over and see if there's any treasure or shipwrecks laying around. Much safer. Even for rescue purposes, right? If someone's in a cave, maybe they're spelunking and they go missing, well, send in a little drone. Don't send in more people to get stuck. I should be like a guy in the chair who controls them. That's kind of fun. This next clip here shows surfers from South Africa not realize that they're paddling around a circle of sharks. Yeah, they looked at the footage afterwards and they were like, oh, we were almost lunch. How lovely. Now, I've swam with sharks before. I don't think sharks are the worst ever, obviously. I'm not endorsing that. But the circling part, the number of them and the circling, nah, I'm good. Number 5, massive whirlpool. This next one here will get a certain group of people. Again, me, I'm not a fan of large bodies of water or the ocean or circles of sharks, but murky water, like murky lakes, they're on my big fear list. I don't like those. I don't like putting my foot in a dirty lake. Back in February 2017, while waters were rising at Lake Berryessa in California's Napa Valley, the Glory Hole spillway, don't you dare laugh at that. The Glory Hole spillway did what life intended it to do. Did some spilling, there you go. Now thankfully a drone guy was nearby, always handy, those drone guys. So now we get to watch the horrors from above. Take a look. It's also terrifying too when the water is not up that high, because now you have this massive pipe just emerging out of the lake, which, I mean, that's a bit worse of a fear in my opinion. Number 4, inside of a volcano. Awesome, just gives away everything in the title. If you're near an active volcano, don't film it. Just imagine it's the movie Dante Peak and run. Run far away for an hour and 46 minutes. Unless you're an expert. In that case, sure, put on your cool Iron Man spacesuit and then go sacrifice a couple of drones. Do it in the name of science, and then we'll watch and click the like button. A team of National Geographic explorers and scientists, well, they did just that, and it's very impressive. They had to sacrifice 2 drones to get up close to this active Merom crater on the Abram volcano in Vanuatu. Take a look. And also, shield your eyes, it's quite hot.
Iron-rich, which layers are sulfur-rich. Within the caldera as a whole, there's certainly life. Coating the walls as you go down, on some of the surfaces down at the bottom, almost certainly there's a high microbial constituency.
The volcano has a 7.5 mile wide caldera, and its active craters contain lava lakes that flow forever. So, number 3, Corvette sinkhole. I feel like this point is terrifying for a very specific group of people. Only if you're a Corvette guy. If you're watching, then, you know, you've been warned. Otherwise, it's just an epic fail, really. I'm glad nobody got hurt, if anything. In a bizarre turn of events, a sinkhole opened up inside of the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yeah, inside of the museum, it just whoom, and then everything fell in. This was back in 2014. Now, like I said, luckily, nobody was around when the portal to the underworld opened up, but 8 Corvettes did get swallowed. 8 Corvettes bit the bullet. The devil wanted those 8 Corvettes for a very specific reason. I don't know. Maybe he likes to ride in style. He likes the roof off type vibe, you know? The Bowling Green Daily News reports that the sinkhole was not small. No, it was 20 feet deep and 40 feet wide in diameter. Now again, this all happened at 5:38 a.m. in the dome area of the museum, so no injuries. But if you're a car guy, this one's bad news. Prepare yourselves, here we go. The 8 cars claimed by the sinkhole included the 1993 ZR1 Spider, a 2009 Blue Devil ZR1, ironic, Blue Devil, that's why he wants it, and even the 1993 40th anniversary Corvette. Yikes, all in that hole. Whoops, what are the odds? Now the 2 ZR1s were on loan from General Motors, while the rest of the cars, well, they were just owned by the museum, so just a big L, very expensive L in my opinion. Sinkholes in this part of Kentucky are apparently not uncommon, so keep your head up, I guess. It sits on what geologists refer to as a karst region, where there are many underground caves and springs. Now, funny enough, engineers determined that the museum remains structurally sound. Still wouldn't catch me in there, no way. Sinkhole or not, I'm never gonna go to a Corvette museum in my life, probably. But if you're a car guy, hey, there you go. Number 2, bikes. Yeah, I bet you didn't think I would put bikes on this list, did ya? Well, think again, pal. It's one thing to see a city thriving and growing, like with many people, but especially that many people on bikes and bikers doing wacky lane change movements, it's a lot. But to see abandoned bikes just piled up, that's just sad. I'd rather see the opposite. I'd rather see an overflowing city than see a pile of dead bikes. Feels like something straight out of the movie WALL-E. Bike sharing has become a popular form of transportation around the world. Now in China, the supply of bikes is much greater than the demand. Add new regulations from local governments to lessen the amounts of bikes on streets, and well, now you end up with abandoned, and most of the time, never even used bikes, all sitting piled up in graveyards all across the country. Now, if you find one, this isn't a treasure chest. Leave it alone. This is a one-way trip to tetanus, so don't climb and explore. Don't be like DW from that one episode of Arthur where she cuts her leg on the can because she's in the garbage thing. Now remember. That's what drones are for, okay? That's what I'm for. Photographer Wu Guoyang captured drone footage of 15 massive bike graveyards, and they're all equally as haunting. The photographer photographer claims that we're literally throwing away bike, and that doesn't seem right. I have to agree. Give me like 3 of them. I had 2 stolen when I was younger, so, you know, 2 wouldn't hurt, that's all I'm saying. And finally, number 1. Bird drones. We'll finish on a weird one, right? Why not? That's what we're here for. Bird drones is not a new concept by any means, but back in the early 60s, the CIA had this secret program called Project Aqualine, where they used these large drones with a low radar cross-section and a little camera, all that cool spy stuff, and then they got caught. Obviously, it didn't look like a bird at all. They began working on it in 1965, and the first prototype, well, it was a bit obvious, wasn't it? It weighed over 100 pounds, it was this massive eagle, but the only way to catch it was to fly it into a net, which broke something every single test flight, so didn't work. We left it for a while. But now, cut to 2022, yeah, there's for sure a drone pigeon out there watching you somewhere. Olivia just did a couple lists on hidden cameras, so birds and drones, probably, someone's probably thought about it. People don't even think birds are real, they think those are drones, so if you're one of those people, I'm sorry, this video definitely did not help you. Starting our list off at number 10, the red door. Okay, if you're a fan of Haunting of Hill House, this first one here should tickle your fancy. Here we go. I'm terrified already. This is some hospital footage because, you know, why not? This video starts off with a flickering light, but as the person filming walks down the hallway, the door at the end begins to open and close repeatedly. Like this, check it out. Now, once they reach said red door that was opening and, you know, slamming shut, they realize nothing is there and it doesn't really go anywhere. The door just leads to pipes, like water supply pipes in case of emergencies, you know what I mean? So they're inspecting it to see what have caused the opening and closing when they began to hear banging coming from another door further down the hallway. And then, of course, like Looney Tunes, they go and check out that one as well. When they check it out, they find nothing and nobody. Honestly, you guys, when I saw the door at the end, when it didn't lead anywhere, I was upset. I was like, oh, someone's faking it. Maybe someone's there, you know, doing something on the other side. Nope, just terrifying. There we go. Number 9, historic home tape. No, not one of those home tapes, you freaks. That's another video. This footage comes from a camera that was found at a historic home by a company that works specifically with historic homes. So specific. The footage found shows a few people just exploring around this abandoned home, checking out whatever's going on in creepy houses, you know, whatever we do on weekends. Apparently people like to explore abandoned stuff, because why not? We don't get to see what it is, but something very obvious freaks them out and they're not having it. They're scared while they're filming and then something else weird happens. Check it out.
Hello?
Now this is where the footage from one camera ends and then another camera's footage begins. There we go. It's like, here's a sequel for you. The audio is pretty distorted at parts, which kind of makes it scarier, but check out the other part as well.
No, I'm not going back.
I'm not exactly sure what happened or who these people are, but something's going on in here. You know what? I'm tapping out. Let's move on. Number 8, Barton Mansion Ghost. This video is from 2001. Somebody explored through the Barton Mansion in California because, like I said earlier, some people like doing that for some reason. This mansion is said to be the home of tons of sinister happenings, satanic rituals, paranormal activity. It's even said that a demon haunts the top floor. It's kind of cool though, demon haunting the top floor. He's like, I shot to the top bunk, and then just floats around. It's said that the night before this video was taken, a group had broken into the abandoned basement, and there they found a creepy configuration of stones surrounding a piece of meat. They came back the next day to take some more video footage of the place, and the part of the video that I wanted to show you is basically a first-person view as somebody explores through said mansion. And it's when they spot something that none of us wanted to see, and that's when all hell breaks loose. Here we go. What exactly did he see there? I have no idea. If you have any ideas, put in the comments down below because I won't be able to sleep. Great. Number 7, clown sightings. This footage comes again from another home surveillance camera, and I feel like these things always catch the creepiest happenings. I just did a doorbell camera video where the dude's licking the guy's doorbell. That's the worst thing I've seen in ages. This time, when the homeowner went to check their footage, they were greeted by an extremely creepy clown. Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember years back when there was like a clown craze. Everyone just wanted to be clowns for some reason and hang out next to the highway. That was weird. I'm hoping that's where this video comes from, but again, there's no explanation, so we just gotta dive in and wonder.
grabs a pumpkin, and then tears it apart. The clown stares awkwardly at the camera before disappearing into the darkness.
I like that the reporter commented that the clown looked awkward at the camera before leaving. Yeah, awkward. That's for sure the word I would use for this encounter. Awkward. Not terrifying. Number 6, Blockbuster Ghost. Oh, a classic. For those of you who don't know, before the age of streaming and, LimeWire, Netflix, all that amazing technology, we had to go to a store with our legs and our families. We had to put on our winter coats to go rent a movie. And sometimes we got there and there was only widescreens left of said movie. That was always the worst. You're like, I guess. I would go in and hide a video sometimes, and then come back with my family, we'd find it, and then rent it. Now, as many good memories that rest there in Blockbuster, there's also some haunting ones. This surveillance camera footage shows an employee, after closing, restocking some of the shelves in the store, and then they notice something flying off one shelf while they're stocking it. And when he finishes stocking one shelf, he moves on to the next, but one video on the shelf he just worked on immediately falls off. Okay, maybe he put the video on the shelf in a, awkward angle. It wasn't a tight 45, maybe it was one of those and it kind of slipped down. It happens. But when he walks away, it flies off the shelf again. Now at this point, I would have already dipped, I would have signed out, maybe even quit my job, who knows. But he goes back, picks the video up, and he walks away again, but this time a video on the other shelf falls down right in front of him, and then as he reaches to pick that video up, another video falls, and then a third one falls. And then he understandably runs off after that. That's just, yeah, to be honest, at that point, I would leave. I would leave after the first video fell, if I'm being honest. Number 5, witch caught on tape. I am terrified of witches. I don't like this one. Okay. This video comes from Mexico and it's said to be a sighting of a witch flying through the air. I love this video. I saw this long before I started working here and it's been rent-free, just sitting right in there. I don't like how slow she's going too. Like, she's not in any rush. The people who recorded the video said they could see the figure wearing a cape, which is why, of course, we all assume that it's a witch. And also, she's flying through the air, so there's that too. Just to add another layer of to this already kind of weird video, police officers from the area also explained that they had seen some sort of witch-like creature before this footage was even captured. They said they saw some sort of creature dressed in all black with huge claws, and it had their head hanging down low. Like, imagine a police officer, I'd be like, what, go get that thing then. What are you talking about? Is that a gargoyle? I've seen Lord of the Rings. Can we close the city? That's terrifying. That's a Demigorgon. Number 4, creeper in the back. Not creeper in the front. That's a different video. This is creeper in the back. Here we go. With so much of the world working from home and needing to do Zoom calls all the time, and now we're just comfortable and no one wants to go back to the office, so we're just gonna keep doing it forever, I guess. After you see this clip, you're gonna be looking over your shoulder every time you're at a meeting in the future. Yeah, you don't want anything like that creeping around your house at any point. When you're looking or not looking, honestly. The sad part is that guy looked like he was having a good time. Maybe he got a promotion on this Zoom call, whatever was going on. He was loving it until, the scary demon apparatus cloud monster thing appeared, of course. Then it kind of went downhill. Now I don't know what the aftermath is of this video, so if you want peace or sleep tonight, I can't help you. I'm not the guy for you. I just report the videos and go, that's scary, next. Number 3, the clip. This is a video that's titled Clip 95 MP4, and after watching it, honestly, I'm good with the other 94, to be honest. I wish I could explain to you guys what's going on in this video, but again, like the rest of them, I have no idea. That's why I included them. They're really baffling. It's a weirdly put together VHS tape, montage, whatever, that features some strange looking people in masks, a weird thing that maybe looks like a clock, and then a whole bunch of, it's just bad vibes, Chris? Just bad vibes going on. It's just not the mood for us. I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to find out, again, like the rest. I don't know what's going on with the clock symbolism here either. It's very specific. I feel like I'm late watching this video. Like I have like the anxiety going on now. Number 2, the chair. Not to be confused with the WWE wrestling move, the chair. This is way less fun, this one. I grew up watching the big comfy couch. I love comfy couches and comfy chairs. I'll sit on both all day long. A rocking chair as an adult, I'll be asleep in minutes. I love this. Except for when it's haunted and it just rocks by itself. Then in that case, I don't want to buy that, no thank you. This is a video of exactly that. It's a chair that is said to have been purchased, used just a couple of days prior, and let me tell you, I hope they kept a receipt. My grandma had a rocking chair, and she said that it would move on its own from time to time. Isn't that terrifying? My grandma told me that when I was like 8. And finally, number 1, VHS for sale. This VHS tape was found at an estate sale that was being held in a barn. Now the person who uploaded this tape found them in 10 boxes that they had purchased, amongst, other things such as records, rusted tools, old paint cans, just borderline garbage, and they're like, ah yes, I'll paint it a different color and sell it for $1 more. And then, sure. This video shows somebody walking through some sort of mildly wooded area in the daytime, which, okay, yeah, fine, that's all great and dandy. But then it cuts to a night scene immediately, and that's when the uncomfortable feelings start to rise up. That's when I feel like I'm gonna throw up on my keyboard watching this video. I have absolutely no idea what the white thing being dragged is, but hey, guess what? I don't wanna find out. There we go. What a fun list that was.